You heard me ask this question, John Fricky, and it's good to be here with you, man. I'm glad to see you. Fricky and I, we rarely saw each other because he was doing mornings. Obviously, we're in afternoons, but it's good that you're here with us. I asked the question to Andy and Randy about is something special happening here, and I'm talking about our Falcons. And I just want you guys to think about it from this standpoint. Whether or not you think they've drafted right, okay, they went out and got now what they believe to be three special players, right, in Pitts and Drake London, and now I'm Bijan Robinson. And if I was to tell you guys, because Andy said I got to see the quarterback, and it's fair. And Randy said, no, I don't think so, because I'm going to let you hear what Terry Fontenot had to say, and he believes that they are building something special here. And here's the thing, John. When the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes, nobody felt like they were going to be doing anything. When the Buffalo Bills drafted Josh Allen, and a 58% completion rate in college. Nobody felt like that was going to be something special. And I'm willing to tell you guys that Desmond Ridder had a better college career than both of those guys. That he's more ready coming in, even though he had to sit a little while behind Marcus Mariota. And we forget Patrick Mahomes had to sit as well. That there is something special happening. And I believe that because we've turned this page from cap hell to where now we can manage the cap. And these draft picks, I get that you're going to say probably that we don't know what they are. But I'm kind of with Terry Fontenot on this. I feel like there is something brewing here, and I don't know if people feel that way. And I'm curious to know if you do.
Well, certainly Andy and Randy don't, now that we've gotten from Negative Nancy and Debbie Downer in the previous show here. Let's talk about what could happen here. We've been talking about this. Ridder only has to be a point guard. He doesn't have to go out and throw 4,000 yards. He doesn't have to throw 40 touchdowns. He doesn't have to be that guy. Just don't lose the game. Be a team manager. You've got Bijan Robinson. I said first snap, right? I presented this last weekend. I think you may have heard it. First snap of the year, offensive snap of the year. Falcons come out. You split Drake London wide left. You bounce Pitts out wide right. You put Cordero in the slot. You have Bijan behind Desmond Ridder. You have Jonnu Smith at the tight end spot. Offensively, weapons. Are we okay? We're more than okay.
Of course.
We're good.
I think... And again, it's about scoring more points. It's Dukes and Bell at Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. And Arthur has said that, and we've been big on it, and it's why I love the Bijan pick. But do you think there's something brewing here? That's really where we have to go. And by the way, in 3 years, if nothing is brewing, everybody's gone. Because that means they got it all wrong, and they got it completely wrong, and all these draft picks, and Pitts is not what he's supposed to be, and London and Bijan is not a star. I don't believe that. I don't think that's going to be the case. 404-741-0929. And again, when Patrick Mahomes was drafted, how many of you called this show and said, oh, my God, something special is brewing in Kansas City?
Well, they traded up to 10 to get him.
They did.
And when they did, everybody went, what the hell are you doing? You've got Alex Smith. Why are you taking that kid from Texas Tech for? What? That was a what move? Well, I guess he saw something, right? So the question is, do you believe in Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith? That's the question. And a lot of people don't. And there's a Slam article out there. Matter of fact, I have it somewhere, my phone or something. I was going to bring it up on the weekend show, but I can just touch on a Slam article, just really giving Arthur Smith the business about it was about the Skoronski thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Peter Skoronski does an interview with Peter Skoronski, the offensive tackle from Northwestern. Arthur Smith tells him he's boring. He's super boring. What he's trying to do is get under Skoronski's skin to see if he, reacts negatively or how he reacts to being called out. He may have also been boring. That's true, too. And so Skoronski is saying that it was weird and it was, not what I wanted. I don't think he was ever in the universe of the Atlanta Falcons anyway. But anyway, be that as it may, the article says that Arthur Smith is not a very good guy. He's crusty. He's not likable. Do his players hate him? I mean, he's not Coach Bro. He ain't Coach Bro. But I'll tell you this much. When you say he's only 14-20, when you say he hasn't produced, what he had to do with Bailey Wire the last 2 years to get to 14-20 and give them a game in January the first year and a game at Christmas last year where they're still alive for the playoffs with those teams, you can't convince me that they're not going to make the playoffs this year. I don't care that Yahoo ranks them 30th or CBS ranks them 26th.
So you think something brewing is brewing then?
Of course.
Absolutely. 404-741-0929. And by the way, I see that completely different, John, in the sense that I said this yesterday with Mike. You got to sell me on drafting you. I have 15 minutes. We know about you. We understand. We know your career. You come in. We're going to ask you these questions. But if you're getting stock answers, which is pretty much what Skoronski was giving them, he said I was answering their questions thoroughly, but I think he was, yes, sir, no, sir, we are really going to work hard. I'm trying to get a feel for what it is that you are going to present. Now, maybe some of you say, well, in 15, 20 minutes, you can't do that. But here's your chance to shine and make me more interested. I don't think Arthur was being an a-hole at all. As a matter of fact, we know him. That's not who he is. But I do think he was challenging him to say, hey, here's our questions. And he's coming back with these stock answers, and Arthur's just real this way, guys. He's like, you're boring me.
I'm going to give you an interview little tip here, okay, if you're going to be interviewing for a job. So we had to hire a new anchor at CNN, right?
Okay.
At CNN Sports. And my boss at the time, Bill McPhail, came to me and said, look, I want you to go. We had 200 tapes. He says, I want you to go through these tapes and pick like 3 that I can look at because I don't have time to go through 200 tapes. You want to know how long you got? 8 seconds.
That's all you got.
You got 8 seconds.
Yep.
I put you in. If you didn't look at it, you didn't sound it, out. So you had 8 seconds to sell me. And then I would go back and watch a little more. That's why it's first impressions. It doesn't take 15 minutes. It doesn't take a minute and a half. What can you tell me in 30 seconds?
And obviously, they weren't getting what they wanted.
Right.
And so Arthur said that. But I'm glad Peter Skoronski shared that information. Let's hear Terry Fontenot. I want you to hear him talk about on the expectations of the Falcons in this season and then what's the next step for them. Because, again, I'm looking at this completely different. I know many of you are like, oh, they screwed this up. Did they? I think something special is brewing.
I think to get better every single day and get the most of your team, to go out there and you want to, every game that you play, you want to have a clear plan to go out there and compete and do the best that you can to win that game. That's the mindset. To every single game that you go out there and play, you want to be able to compete and win it. We can go through and talk about the division we can talk about, but at the end of the day, you want to have that mindset to where every time you step out on that field, whether it's a practice drill or whether it's a preseason game or whether it's a regular season game or a playoff game, you want to do the very best you can to win that game.
Yeah, I think and this gets back to John Fricke in for Mike today, guys. It's Dukes and Bell, Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. You can follow us. He is at John Fricke, of course. I'm at Put 'em Up, see Dukes. And, of course, this radio show, Dukes and Bell 929. Follow the radio station at 929 The Game. And we're live on Twitch, guys, ATL 929 The Game and 929 The Game. You can watch us on YouTube as well. This gets back to the makeup of the kind of players they wanted to draft, right? You keep hearing Terry Fontenot talk about expectations and approach and all this stuff. The kind of guys they want on this team. And if you get enough of those guys, you're going to win. At some point, you're going to win.
8 losses last year, 1 score, right? Flip 3 of those, you're in the playoffs with 10 wins. And that was using the noodle arm quitter as your quarterback for 13 games. Now, you put Desmond Ridder, who got better game over game over game, and you put him with these weapons and a healthy offensive line. There's ifs and buts. I get that, but everybody's got ifs and buts. Maybe not I don't know, but even the Philadelphia Eagles for example, will it work to have to have Athens North? It may work. They may have the greatest defense in the history of the NFL, and I know a lot of Georgia fans think they will, and they may. Okay, and it may, but it also may be. It's such an unusual situation here to have all of these guys play on one team. 5 defensive starters from the same team. That it may not work, because it's a different animal in the NFL, and players, I don't know. It may not work. I don't know. We'll see. So there's ifs, right, in everything. If Bergeron Saul's left guard, this team, let me ask you a question, okay, Carl? Is this team a touchdown better a game offensively? See, that's all.
Yes.
And so what does that mean? 8 one-score games. They win 6 of those. They become the Minnesota Vikings. All right, fine. But that suddenly is a 13-win team.
Yeah. This is where I'm at, and this is why I'm so adamant and high on the draft pick. And also Matthew Bergeron. I mean, again, let's not act as if the left guard position was a sure thing. I think we're better there than what we were before the draft. Terry Fontenot talking about how high was Bijan Robinson on their board. Listen to this.
Well, you're right. You do want to have 8 names. You don't sleep good if you don't have 8 names because you know that it can go either way. And we've kind of talked about it. That was one of the more unpredictable drafts going into it, not knowing what's going to happen in front of you. I think everybody knew who they expect the number 1 pick to be. Outside of that, the next picks, we just didn't know. We loved Bijan throughout the whole process. And there were some other really good players that came off the board before him. We like those players a lot, but we love Bijan and the man he is, the person he is, the player he is, the impact he's going to make. So without saying exactly where he was in our stack, we were pumped to take him off the board at 8.
Well, I can tell you this. They were all in agreement that if he was there, they were taking him. I think he was top 3. I think he was like, if he's there, he's 1. Here's our second choice in the first round, and here's our third choice.
Yeah,
these are the 3 guys.
Young, Stroud, Robinson.
Here we go. That's it.
Yep.
And we knew Young wasn't going to be there, but guys, something's brewing.